Today's project is a custom guitar. I had a customer send me some requirements for basically a Paul Dean guitar, Loverboy, right? Okay. Hondo originally made his. So this is a homage to a Hondo Paul Dean guitar. Hey, if you like what you see here or you found it interesting or useful, why don't you give that subscribe button a click. Maybe give us a like, maybe hit the little bell thingy, lets you know when we put up new videos. What? Huh? Oh, my lawyer would like a word with you.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
Okay, because this is a custom job, I had to generate the geometry of the body from just a photograph. How did I do that? Well, the customer supplied this. Okay, that is a bitmap layer. So what I did was just use the line tool over here, and I basically traced this guitar outline by hand all the way around. I'm not doing it now, but I'm just showing you. And then I best guessed where that, you can see right here where that would come across. Okay, so once I had that and I closed it, I could then manipulate it, move it to where I wanted here. And I resized it. Let me just get rid of this. So you can see I rotated it 90 degrees and I resized it. Well, what size did you use? I had the customer supply me with a dimension from here to here. And then I just used the resize tool over here, and then I set that, in this case it was the height, and I made sure that it was linked here so that it would scale it up in proportion. Okay, so that's how I got the outside geometry for that. Okay, so how did you get the geometry, the pickups and the control cavity and stuff in here? This is what the customer wanted, by the way. He wanted 2 pickups, 2 humbuckers, a square-backed or telly neck pocket, and a Strat top-mounted control cavity. So how did you get that stuff in here? So I already have files for tellies and Strats and all that kind of stuff. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I will import them. So I imported that, and you can see, because I do all of my guitar bodies the same way, where this is kind of 0 right here, the center rear of the body. You can see that's already lined up. Okay? So what I do is I keep the neck pocket and the 2 pickup pockets, and I delete everything else. So I do the same thing then with the Strat control cavity. Sometimes, depending on what they are and how big the body is and stuff, you gotta move them around, but you already have the geometry, or you can get the geometry. That's how I do it again. Okay, so let's get into making this thing. We'll do the pickups first. Those are standard pockets. They're 750 deep. I'm going to use my standard 6mm end mill, conventional cut. I'll ramp the plunge moves. I'll call them pickup pockets. Okay. Then we can do the neck pocket. And that's going to be a pocket. and it's going to be 5/8 deep or 625. This all stays the same, conventional climb, same router bit, all that's the same. And we'll call it neck pocket. And then we'll do the control cavity. I make my control cavities 1.4 inches deep. You can make yours whatever, you know. That I generally found that with pick guards and stuff, all your switches and pots and all that stuff has plenty of room to clear. So we'll go control cavity. Control, if I could spell it right, control cavity. And then lastly, we will do the outer contour. And the outer contour will not be a pocket, it will be a profile. And it'll be 1.75 deep, because that's how deep bodies are, or how thick bodies are. We won't do tabs. I won't, because you may want to put tabs in here depending on how you hold this down. I don't put tabs in here, so 30 seconds from now I can get rid of the background and show you a 3D model of the body. When I make this body, I'll come back in and put tabs in here, because I have a clamp that's right about here and right about here. So I put those tabs right about here and right about here. But we won't for this one. I normally ramp my outside about 0.2. It does precess around here. In other words, if it's 5 times around, what is it? How many passes? Yeah, it's 5 passes around. Each one will go 0.2, because it's got to start at the bottom of the ramp, right? So that's the way I do it. Let's see, and we'll call this outer profile. All right. Preview all toolpaths. And we'll double click this stuff out here to get rid of it. And then we'll take a look. All right, that looks pretty good to me. The customer does want a belly cut, but we put that in as a secondary op. I noticed that we're breaking through right here, which is good, because you got to run wires through there, and there's going to be a pick guard cover and all that, so who cares? This happens every once in a while. These are basically on the same line here, so it shows them sometimes. If like this actually is gonna be there, it actually won't, because it's about paper thin. It's a couple thou thick, and if it is, you just peel it off with your finger. But that is something. That's because I imported that pocket to size. I should have made that pocket a little bigger. It won't cause a problem though, and I know that from experience. So there you have it. Let's head out to the shop and grind this thing out.
All right, if you're a regular watcher of the channel, you know that this is my computer. I got it loaded up with the body, and we'll start cutting that out. We got to set our zeros first. Okay, here we are. I have the blank strapped down, clamped down to the table, and we got to set our zeros. If you are a regular watcher of the channel, thank you, you'll know that my X and Y zero are actually my home position. So all we really have to set is the Z. So what we'll do is we'll bring this cutter over, that's my 6mm cutter, and we'll set it down to the top of the blank, and we'll call that Z0. Now there's many ways to do this. A lot of guys have touch plates, all that kind of stuff. I just kind of do it the old-fashioned way, personally. I'll get it over, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look down here, and I'm going to spin this with my hand. I'm going to spin the spindle with my thumb here while I'm going down. And I'll set it, I'll get it really close, and then I'll set it to the lowest speed, and then I'll spin it while I go down, and as soon as it hits the, as soon as it hits the top of the blank, I can still spin it, but it stops right away. So it's just barely touching, and I call that 0. So I'll put in 0 on my computer over here. I'll lift her up. I'll send her back home. Okay, and then I'll start my spindle. Speeds and feeds for this, I have set in there. My spindle speed's about 18.5 thousand. Okay, I'll let it go, and would normally have a dust boot on there, but I want to let you guys see it grind it out, so I'm going to leave that dust boot out. But I am going to turn on my dust extraction. Okay, there you have it. She cut it out. Let's unstrap it. And there you go. All right, so it's off the machine, and the customer said that he wants a belly cut but no forearm cut. So since I don't cut that in 3 dimensions, I do that by hand. I have to just kind of eyeball the belly cut. At the picture they sent me, the belly cut looks something like this. Okay, I got a little bit too much there. Okay, and I'm just eyeballing that. Okay, that's all I can do is eyeball that. I would err on the side of making the belly cut too small than too large, because if it's too small, you can just sand more out of it. If it's too large, it's a lot harder to put the wood back in, if you know what I'm saying. So, let's go to the bandsaw. All right, I could CNC that in. I would have to flip it over. That'd be a second op, second hold down. It's just a lot faster doing it this way. So what I'm going to do with the bandsaw is I'm going to roughly cut that out, and then we'll go over to the monster and grind it to final dimension. Here we go. I didn't take a whole lot off because I want to do most of that on the monster. Here we are at my Great Big Belt Sander. Most dangerous machine in my shop. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grind this freehand basically to that line. This is 5 horsepower and a 60 grit belt, so it's dangerous. All right, customer calls out a 3/16 inch radius on the edge. So let's take care of that. Here's one of my routers with a 3/16 inch radius bit in it, and we'll go around top and bottom. Okay, I do want to show you this here. I ease into it right here and I do a little hand work at the end. You don't want this radius to go onto this surface because that will cause you issues when you put the plate on. Same thing over here. So I'll come by and I'll hand sand that a little bit. And last step, last machining step is the drill press. 7/8 inch diameter carbide cutter tipped drill bit, and we'll bore into about here. This one. Okay, that does it for the machine work. We still have some hand sanding. Look, I got some fuzzies here, and you know, I have some hand sanding that I have to do on this before I send it out to the customer. Also, we check every single one of our widths on our neck pocket. That what I'm looking for is 2.187 plus or minus maybe 7 or 10. Let's see what the width on this one is. You want to get it at its widest point, but not on the radius. This one's got a really short little radius there. I got to be careful. All right, 2.1855. So I'm what, a thou and a half off. That's very, very close. Again, our tolerance is plus minus 7. So 186. I always write that in the pocket so I know exactly what it is. So a little hand sanding and then we're done. And there you have it. One custom made guitar for a customer. This is going out today. I got some hand sanding left that I did on it. I maybe got to drill the hole that goes through here. But other than that, she's ready to go. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. The subscription helps me a lot. This one's a custom build, so I can't offer free files for it. I may make my own in the future from a different Hondo guitar and put that on the site. We'll see. In any case, like and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.